friends, I am Dr. Shikha Pandey, Associate Professor from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. So today I am going to discuss about the use of alternate energy source with their case study. Previously we have a study about the alternate energy sources and their types, like energy resources and their types, that is renewable energy resource and non-renewable energy resource. So now we are at that point where we have to study about the alternate energy resource. Because why this alternate energy resource? Because India is a very populated country, and it is totally dependent on the fossil fuel, and fossil fuel has some drawbacks. By the use of fossil fuel we'll get some pollution, environmental pollution. That's why we have to find any quality, any way to shift towards the use of alternate energy resource. So this is the my flow of lectures. I will discuss about the alternate energy resources, and then the differences between renewable and alternate energy resource, and then it's a perspective of alternate energy resource in India. Then we'll discuss about the solar energy and its application. It's a practical application in real life. Wind energy, and it's a case study. Then geothermal energy, it's a case study and all. Biomass energy, nuclear energy, and its perspectives in India. Okay, so let's start with this, the basics of alternate energy resource. What does it mean by alternate energy resource? Alternate energy resource, we can define it as any source of energy that can be alternative and can supplement the conventionally used energy resource. So that is called as alternate energy resource. Means those source of energy that can be an alternate for the conventionally used source of energy. So these are called as alternate source of energy. So alternate source of energy example is solar, wind, tidal energy, geothermal and nuclear. These are the example of alternate energy resource. Means that we can use alternatively in place of that conventionally source of energy. And that traditional source of energy and conventionally ancient time used source of energy are fossil fuel based, like coal, petroleum, natural gas. These are the conventionally used source of energy for India, for our country. So we have to shift, we have to find some alternative to use for our country, so that it will be less harmful for the environment, and it should be sustainable, and it should be available in the low cost also. So the increased content of carbon dioxide increases. Why we have to shift on this alternate source of energy? So because the increased content of carbon dioxide increases the warmth of our planet, and is the main reason for the global warming effect. And to replace and traditional current technology with alternatively that can be comparable or better performance, but do not emit any carbon dioxide. So why we need this alternate source of energy? Because this ancient source of energy will form carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide is the main reason for the global warming. So we have to find that some different source of technology, so that which is alternative to that sources, and they have a very good performance, and but they do not emit any kind of carbon dioxide. They should not emit any kind of carbon dioxide, and it should be eco-friendly. It should be eco-friendly. So in search of these things, we are going to shift toward the alternative source of energy. That's why we are studying this alternative source of energy. So this alternative source of energy are renewable source of energy, like solar, wind, tidal, geothermal, nuclear. All renewable source of energy comes under alternative source of energy. But some exception is also there in case of nuclear energy, because that is not renewable source of energy, but that is alternative. We have to find only alternative to our general source of energy, to our conventionally source of energy. So this is called as alternate source of energy. This is all about the basics of alternate source of energy. Now let's go to discuss about the different type of alternate source of energy. Which source of energy we can say that is alternate to our ancient traditional source of energy. So first one is the solar energy, then wind energy, then ocean energy, geothermal energy, biomass energy, hydropower energy, hydrogen, nuclear energy. All these energies are alternate to the traditional source of energy. So we can use this kind of energy as a better option with compared to our ancient source of energy. So these energy are less polluting. They will not emit carbon dioxide. They are eco-friendly. Already we are discussing in the previous lectures also, like which renewable source of energy, why we have to shift towards the renewable source of energy, because these energy are less harmful for the environment. These are not emitting any kind of carbon dioxide. They are cheapest form of energy. They are available everywhere, and we can renew it very easily, and no more cost is utilizing in the renewable of that kind of energy. And these energy we can renew within a human lifespan. So these are the benefits of renewable source of energy. So renewable source of energy is a very important source of energy, and we have to think about that source of energy, because non-renewable source of energy has some drawbacks, like they are not eco-friendly. They are emitting carbon dioxide and global warming. They are the main reason of that global warming and greenhouse gases. So for that, we are going to shift towards the alternate source of energy. So for alternate source, not all alternate source of energy are renewable source of energy, because some exception is there. That is only about the nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is not renewable source of energy, but we can use this nuclear energy as a alternate source of energy, because nuclear energy has a very high potential. Now comes to the different types of alternate source of energy, what we are going to discuss about in the next lectures. And what are those alternate source of energy? First one is the wind energy. That energy we get from wind is called as wind energy, and it is the most cleanest and accessible form of energy. Wind power is sustainable and does not release carbon emission as a byproduct. So wind energy is a very cleanest and most reliable form of energy, and it is very common in India. Now comes to the nuclear energy. This is taken from the core of an atom, which must be split to gain its energy. This by a process is called as fission. So when a nuclei is there, nuclei will emit energy by the process of fission. Now comes to the tidal energy. Tidal energy we get from the ocean by sea waves. So this method of energy production is still fairly and new and has only produced a small amount of energy. That form of energy is very new in India, and that is not much practiced in India. So this is also comes under the category of alternate source of energy. And now comes on the biofuels. Biofuels are similar to biomass, but biofuels not use biological matter like animal and plant to create energy. So these are called as biofuels. Now comes to the solar energy. This is the most common renewable energy, and this is an common source of alternative energy, and it has a many good reason to use this solar energy as an alternative source of energy, because solar energy is easily available everywhere, and it is a cleanest source of energy also. Now comes to the hydrogen gas. This is an important energy carrier and a potential alternative clean energy fuel with a notable stake in the global fuel market. So this is all about the hydrogen gas. Now comes to the biomass energy. This type of energy can come in several forms, because all biomass is there. So it is in several forms, and biomass energy can include anything from burning wood to burning waste, as many countries do now. So many countries is producing biogas these days. So biogas is an alternative energy resource as compared to the petroleum. So biogas is also come under the alternative source of energy. This is the example of biomass energy. So these energy we are discussing is all about the alternate source of energy. So now comes to the next slide. This is all about the difference between the renewable energy and alternate energy. So there are very fine difference between the renewable source and alternate source of energy. All alternate source of energy are renewable source of energy, but only in case of nuclear energy, this is not a renewable source of energy. So alternate energy refers to energy source other than fossil fuel. Exactly what I am discussing from the last slide, that is, it is all energy resource that is other than the fossil fuel, and it includes all renewable sources and nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is not classified among the alternate renewable energy because that source do not deplete and can be replenished with a human lifetime. Because thorium, we are using uranium 235, uranium 236 for nuclear energy, but that is we all get it from by the mining, and from that area we cannot renew it from a human lifespan. So that is not a renewable source of energy. And nuclear energy is produced from mined element like uranium and thorium, which cannot be replenished within a human life span. So it is not comes under the renewable source of energy, but it is a alternative source of energy. So nuclear is produced by the mined elements like uranium and thorium, which cannot be replenished in a human lifespan. So it is a renewable, not a renewable source of energy. It is a non-renewable source of energy, but it can be used as an alternative source of energy for the coming future. Now comes to the perspectives of India. India's future in terms of alternative source of energy. So, what is the future of India in the field of alternative source of energy? So, first point is that India is the fourth largest energy consumer in the world, because our consuming capacity is more in the world, that is after USA, China and Russia. All these are developed nation and our nation is developing nation only, but we are competing in the field of energy consuming with a developed nation, so that we have to do more R&D on that alternative source of energy, because our population is going to be increasing day by day, and we are coming in we are competing with the developing nation has their very advanced energy production, they have very controlled population also, but in India population is also too much and we are the very highest energy consumer. So it is very important for our country to find some alternate source of energy. Now comes to the next point, that is about the India is the fourth largest crude oil importer and fifth largest refinery capability, that is about 4.1% of the total production. India is the third largest producer of electricity, and now 72% of India's electricity comes from non-renewable source and 28% from renewable energy source. So this is all about the fossil fuel. So 72% of the total electricity generated in India comes from the non-renewable energy source like thermal power plant, and thermal power plant is using that traditional coal only. So only 28% of the energy is coming from the non-renewable sources of energy. And for this, only coal constitutes 59% of the India's electricity production. Coal contributing toward 59% of India's electricity production. Now comes to the India's dependency on fossil fuel has raised 38% in the 2012 data. This is 2019 data, but this is all about fossil fuel, but it is up to 2012 only. India was the first country in the world to set a dedicated ministry. India has a different ministry for that non-conventional source of energy. Is the Ministry of New and Renewable Source of Energy, that is set in the year 1992. This is all about the perspective of alternate energy sources in India. India has a good potential for the energy resources, and India is a very good consumer also for that energy resources. And India is totally dependent on the ancient time of fossil fuel like coal, petroleum and natural gas. So alternative source of energy is very important for our country. Now comes to the first one, that is about solar energy. Solar energy is a technology that use sun energy and light to provide heat, hot water, to provide daily utilizing activity like heat, light, hot water, electricity, even cooling for home, businesses and industry. So everywhere solar energy is using for our daily life. We can use solar energy for every purposes like hot water, for getting hot water, electricity, cooling for homes and all. And India has 4346 megawatt of solar energy capacity as till 2015. And now Rajasthan and Gujarat is the most important leading state for the solar power production states. Now comes to the how this solar energy we are harnessing from the sun. We are making this solar panel on our rooftop, and that solar panel convert sunlight into the usable solar energy. And that the effect that is utilizing inside that solar cell are the photovoltaic effect. And photovoltaic effect is nothing but the process of converting light into the electricity. Electricity is a photovoltaic effect. So these solar panel, by the process of photovoltaic effect, they are converting solar energy into the light energy. Now comes to the different section, that is about solar cell. Solar cell consists of p-type semiconductor. Solar cell is nothing but the p-type semiconductor. That is, p-type semiconductor means silicon doped with boron, and n-type semiconductor means silicon doped with phosphorus. Now p-type form top layer and n-type form bottom layer. Solar rays fall on the top layer, the electron from the valence band promoted to the conduction band, and that crosses p-n junction into n-type semiconductor, and that potential difference between the two layers is created is due to that flow of electron, and then electricity will generate. This is the or nothing about the all about the solar cell, how this solar cell works. That is about the p-type and n-type semiconductor, where with the when the rays fall, the electrons get jumped from the lower level to higher level, and that flow of electron will generate electricity. Now, this is all the practical application of solar cell. First one is the solar battery. So, large number of solar cell connected in a series to form a solar battery, and it is used in the remote area where continuous power supply is not there. So, in the form of solar cells in the batteries, we can utilize that solar energy for those places which is remote to the city and where no electricity is there. So we can use solar battery for that places. Now comes to the solar water heater. It is consists of insulated box painted with black paint with glass lid, and that inside that lid a hot black painted copper coil is present, and cold water is allowed to flow, and it is heated up and flows out into a storage tank from which water is supplied through pipelines. So what is happen inside that solar water heater? It is nothing but a black box covered with a glass lid, and inside that, when solar energy falls down, they started heating the cold water into hot water, and through pipelines we are supplying this water for our household activity. So solar water heater is very common in today's life, as I think every rooftop of all the buildings, solar water heater is there. It consists of insulated box. That box is painted with a black paint with glass lid. Inside the box, black painted copper coil is present, and cold water is allowed to flow, and it is heated up and flow out into a storage tank from which water is applied through pipeline. So our daily life, we are using solar water heater. So this is a little bit alternative to our traditional energy resources, to our electricity geyser, which is we are totally dependent, but solar water heater is a very good option, a alternate option for the geyser, that is we are using it with the totally dependent on electricity. Like that, solar battery is also a good option for those area that is remote to the city and where electricity is not available in the plenty of amount. Now comes to the practical application of solar energy. So this solar energy, first we have already used that we already discussed about where it was applied more. So that is practical application that we are using that solar energy in our daily life. First one is solar hot water, and then solar heating of building. Solar hot water uses solar energy to heat water, and now solar heating of building. So separate solar collector which may heat either water or air, or storage device which can accumulate the collected solar energy for use at night and during inclement days like bad weather days. Inclement days like bad weather days where no plenty of sunlight is there. So solar heating of the building. So we are collecting the solar energy in the way water storage or storage devices which can be used to collect solar energy for our use in night or during the bad weather. And now comes to the solar drying of agriculture and animal products. So animal products are drying in a simple cabinet dryer which consists of box insulated at the base. So that solar energy is utilizing in the animal products and agriculture activities also, because for drying some agriculture product we are using that solar energy if in a dry cabinet where an insulated box is there, and that will utilize that solar energy. And now comes to the solar cooking. Solar cooking is nothing but use of solar energy for the cooking food. So it is using direct sunlight to cook and heat food also. Like you can see this in the picture. This picture is also all about the solar cooking, how this solar energy is utilizing for the cooking purpose. Now, solar thermal power production. Solar pond is a natural or artificial body of water utilized for collecting and absorbing solar radiation and storing it as a heat. Now comes to the solar greenhouse. Greenhouse is a structure covered with transparent material like glass or plastic. that act as a solar collector and utilize radiant energy to grow plant, solar radiant energy to grow plant. Now comes to the next slide, that is about the case study of that solar power plant, and this is Wilson Solar Power Plant in Neemuch district of MP. MP is the MP in the state, Neemuch district in MP. One Wilson Solar Power Plant is there. This is the currently one of the largest solar power plant in Asia that is fully functioning and delivering also. So it is currently the largest and most spread around solar power plants in the country, and it is spread around 800 acre of barren and cultivated land. It built at a cost of $180 million US dollar. It produced a net power of 115 megawatt. So that solar power plant, Wilson Solar Power Plant, that is present in the Neemuch district of MP, is the Asia's largest fully functioning and delivering power plant. That is, and it is using giving 150 megawatt of energy, and it is built up by the 180 million US dollar, and it is spread through the 800 acre of barren and uncultivated land. Now comes to the different source of energy, that is about the wind energy. Wind energy is that source of renewable energy which comes from air current flowing across the earth's surface. That is about the wind energy. Wind turbine harvest this kinetic energy and convert it into the electricity. Wind energy is one of the fastest growing source of new electricity generation in the today's world. India is the world's fifth largest wind power producer, and the good amount of wind energy is present installed in 8 major states across India. That is about Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. Because in that lower area and southern region area, more wind is there, so that energy is installed in this state also. Now we'll discuss about the working principle of wind, like how this wind energy is working. So energy in the wind turns the propeller like blade around a rotate. That blade, you can see this is the propeller like blade. So that blade is there, and when wind energy comes, that turns up that propeller, and the pitch of blade make optimum use of wind direction. And the rotor is connected to the main drive shaft. This is the drive shaft, and which spin the generator to create electricity. And now wind turbines are mounted on a tower to capture the most energy. It is mounted on a very high tower, that is about 30 meter or more above ground. So they can take advantage of faster and less turbulent wind, because on very higher above ground, you will find very high speed and less turbulent wind also. Wind turbine can be used to produce electricity for single home or building, and now they can be connected to electricity grid for more widespread electricity distribution. So this is all about the working of the wind energy. How the propeller kind of blade is there with the wind. It is starting rotating. It starts rotating, and that in the direction of wind, and that will generate electricity. And it is grounded. It is mounted on a very high building, on very high tower. So it will use more and more amount of wind, and no turbulence is there, with less turbulence wind. Now, wind energy case study in our country. So, Mundapal wind farm in Kanyakumari district in Tamil Nadu. This wind farm is the very largest India's operational onshore wind farm. This project is basically developed by Tamil Nadu Energy Development Agency, and its total installed capacity is 1500 megawatt, which make it the third largest operational onshore wind farm in India. This is all about that case study about the wind energy in India, that is installed in the Kanyakumari district, and this is producing, that wind farm is producing 1500 megawatt. That make is the third largest operational onshore wind farm in the world. So this energy is a very good, as we have already discussed, like wind energy is the very cleanest source of energy, and it is not producing any kind of byproduct. And this is the largest plant which is developed in our country, and this project is developed by Tamil Nadu Energy Development Agency, and that plant is the third operational onshore wind farm in the world, and it has a 1500 megawatt of capacity. Now let's discuss about the ocean energy. Like that energy we are getting from the ocean is called as ocean energy. Ocean is a very high enormous source of energy, And it is already given that we are using point if we are using 0.1% of energy in ocean wave, it could be capable of supplying the entire world's energy requirement. So this is all about the ocean energy. Ocean, the tides present in the ocean is going to be used in the form of energy, is called as ocean energy. And its type is, the first one is the tidal energy. Tidal energy is nothing but that energy we are getting from the ocean waves, is called as tidal energy. Wave tides is there, and that tide will convert into the energy, is called as ocean energy. And now ocean thermal energy, that is OTE, that is a plant that is make on the inside the ocean, and that will generate electricity for the daily uses. So this slide is all about the ocean energy. Like, the energy present in the ocean is going to be utilized for the electricity's purpose, for use as an alternative source of energy, is called as ocean energy. So an ocean has an enormous source of energy, and it is estimated that 0.1% of the energy in ocean wave could be capable of supplying the entire world's energy requirement. And ocean has a very great potential for that, for the energy production. And India is not too much developed about the ocean energy, because we need more R&D to develop this ocean energy. And tidal energy is there, ocean thermal energy is there, salinity energy is there in that ocean energy. Now comes to the next slide, that is all about the geothermal energy. What is geothermal energy? That is, the heat comes from the earth, produced by the earth, is called as geothermal energy. Comes from heat produced by the earth, is called as geothermal energy. Geo means the earth and therm means heat. So that heat which is present beneath the earth's surface is called as geothermal energy. And beneath the surface, like the earth's crust of the earth, there are a number of heat producing layer of rocks, minerals and magma, including the mantle, the outer core and the inner core. So utilizing that heat into the electricity production is called as geothermal energy. So very much enormous amount of heat is there inside the earth's surface, and that heat we can use it for the electricity generation, is a good alternative source of energy. And this is all about the geothermal energy. Geo means earth and therm means heat. Heat is present beneath the earth's surface, and that what earth surface, like the crust, below the crust, and the layer of heat producing rock is there. Like that rock is very high heat producing rock is there, minerals, magma, mantle, outer core, inner core, all are there inside the earth surface. And that heat you can use for the energy production, is called as geothermal energy. Now next slide, this is about the how this geothermal energy works, how we are harnessing energy from that geothermal power plant. So when we are pumped hot water from deep underground through a well under high pressure, and when the water reaches the surface, the pressure is dropped, which causes the water to turn into the steam. The steam spins a turbines, which is connected to a generator that produces electricity, and the steam cool offs in a cooling tower and condenses back to water. So the cooled water is pumped into the earth to begin the process again. So by this we'll get the hot water, and that hot water will generate the turbine, and through that turbine generator collector is there, and that from that collector electricity we can use for our daily purpose. This is all about the geothermal energy. Through the injection well, hot water is pumped into deep underground through a well pressured high pressure under high pressure condition. When the water reaches the surface, the pressure is dropped, which causes the water to turns into the steam. That steam spins the turbine. And that is connected to generators. You can see that there is a generator also, and that spin is connected to this generator, and that generator will produce electricity. And that it's the cooling steam cools off in a cooling tower and condenses back to the water, and the cooled water is pumped back into the earth to begin the process again. For this process, geothermal energy will produce, and that geothermal is a very good source of alternative energy. Now we'll discuss about the future of geothermal energy in India. So the what is the perspective of that geothermal energy in India? So about 6.5% of electricity generation in the world is done by geothermal energy, and that can play important role in the coming year in this direction. So in the first discuss about the global level, that is about the 6.5% of total electricity generation is fulfilled by the geothermal energy, and for that India can play an important role in coming in this direction. And according to Geological Survey of India, they have identified about 340 geothermal hot springs in the country, and most of them are in the low surface temperature range from 37 degrees Celsius to 90 degrees Celsius, which is suitable for direct heat application. So that temperature is more. So this temperature is a very important factor for that geothermal energy. And our GSI Geological Survey of India have identified total 340 geothermal hot spring with a good condition, with a good temperature range that can be suitable for the direct heat application. It is, and now they have grouped that geothermal province into the 7 categories. First one is the Himalayan, that is Puga Valley, that is in Ladakh, and now Sahara Valley, Cambay Basin, Sonata is nothing but the Son is a Son, Narmada and Tapti. So they are called as Sonata region. And Liniment Belt, West Coast, Godavari Basin, Mahanadi Basin. All these 8 categories are the 7 geothermal provinces, or all these are 7 geothermal provinces. And now we are founding one new geothermal power plant that has been found in Tapti in Chhattisgarh. Gujarat is also having a good potential for that geothermal electricity through resources which are available in Cambay through between Narmada and Tapti river. Cambay basin, that is about the this is present in the Narmada and Tapti river basin. So India has a very good potential for geothermal energy, and they have already identified 340 geothermal hot springs. So we can use that. That is a good alternative source of energy. India's first geothermal plant is come up in Chhattisgarh, and NTPC has already started exploratory and preparatory work in this area. So first geothermal power plant in India is going to be set up in Chhattisgarh. So and NTPC has taken that initiative to set up that geothermal energy in India. So this is all about the perspective of utilizing that geothermal energy in the coming future in India. That is about the alternate energy resource for in terms of geothermal energy. Geothermal energy is nothing but the utilizing hot springs, hot heat beneath the earth surface for the electricity generation is called as geothermal energy. Now the next energy that is all about is about the biomass energy. Biomass is a fuel that can be defined it as the fuel that is derived from any organic renewable material that can be used in either raw or processed form. So this is the biomass fuel and can be used this fuel for the organic or renewable material. So woods, what it is? Wood from natural forest and woodland, forestry plantation, forestry residue, agriculture residue like straw, stubble, canned trash, green agriculture waste, agro-industrial waste such as sugarcane, bagasse and rice husk. All these are the byproducts of agriculture, and these comes under the category of biomass energy. That energy we are going to derived, we are going to harness from organic or renewable material comes under the biomass energy. So they are organic form of energy, and their example is the natural forest, woodland, forestry plantation, forestry residue, agriculture residue like straw, stubble, canned trash, green agriculture waste, agro-industrial waste, sugarcane, bagasse and rice husk. All these are comes under the category of biomass energy. Now the examples of biomass energy. First one is the biogas. We can use bioenergy in the biogas and biofuels. Biogas is nothing but the mixture of methane, carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide. Mixture of methane, carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide. So these are called as biogas, and methane is the major constituent of that biogas, and it is obtained from the anaerobic fermentation of animal dung or plant waste in the presence of water. So next is about the biofuels. Biofuels, and two type of biofuels is there. That is we are obtained by the process of fermentation from the biomass. So these examples are ethanol and methanol. So ethanol is produced from the sugarcane, methanol is obtained from the ethanol. So it's all about the biogas, and biogas is nothing but the anaerobic fermentation of animal dung into the plant waste in the presence of water. And for this, biofuel is there. Biofuel is of two types, ethanol and methanol. Now comes to the energy produced by the biomass and the types of biomass and their conversion process and the products that is used that is developed by the conversion process, and the example of that biomass energy into the daily application. So first one is the type of biomass. So this is example is the wood and wood processing residues. So by the process of direct combustion and pyrolysis, heat is produced, and that charcoal, oil and tar is there, and that we are utilizing in the production of methanol and transportation fuel. And heat is we are utilizing in the generation of electricity and cooking. And next is the peat. Peat is a low grade coal, and by the process of direct combustion, heat will produce. That heat will generate electricity. And next is dry animal waste and crop residue. By the process of direct combustion, heat will produce. That heat we can use for the cooking and heating purpose. Next is moist animal waste and waste crop. By the process of anaerobic digestion through the process of biogas, it can be used in a cooking and heating purpose. Next is energy crop like maize and sugarcane residue. Through the process of fermentation, ethanol will produce, and that ethanol is a good supplement for petrol in the gasohol and transportation fuel in the Brazil also. Now comes to the different form of energy, that is nuclear energy. As we have already discussed about the nuclear energy, like why it comes under the category of alternate energy source, because this is non-renewable source of energy. So non-renewable source of energy because we are using thorium and uranium, that is by the process of mining, and it cannot be replenished or renewed in a human lifespan. So this nuclear energy comes under the category of non-renewable source of energy, but it is a very good source of alternate energy. So nuclear energy is made in power plant by splitting the nuclei of heavy metal, such heavy atoms like uranium, and this splitting of nuclei by the process of nuclear fission releases a very large amount of energy. So this is called as nuclear energy. So what it is, but heavy atom is there such as uranium, and the splitting of nuclei by the process of nuclear fission, it release a very large amount of energy. And the fusion of nuclei of some heavy metal and fusion, two terms is there, fission and fusion. Fission means breaking and fusion means attaching. So fission is there. Fission means like splitting of nuclei, and that splitting release large amount of energy. Fusion is of nuclei certain light energy, that will produce some light energy. So you can see this in the picture. One target nuclei is there, and through the process of fission, fission product, neutron, lots of products will form. And two deuterium, helium, tritium, and neutron is there. All are fusing and producing energy. So this is all about the nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is nothing about the involvement of nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. Nuclear fission is the splitting of nuclei, and nuclear fusion is the association of nuclei. So by the process of association, they will produce energy, and in the process of nuclear fission, by the splitting of nuclei, they will produce energy. Now comes to the perspective of India, global perspective toward the nuclear energy. According to International Atomic Energy Agency, there are 436 nuclear power plants in operation in the year 2007. So the 5 countries most reliant on nuclear energy are France, Lithuania, Belgium, Slovakia, and Ukraine. These country is very, very much reliant on nuclear energy, and these country is having a good amount of, they have developed their own reactors, their own nuclear power plant for the production of nuclear energy. And nuclear energy is the 4th largest source of electricity in India. So it has a very good future in India also. It is the 4th largest source of electricity in India. As of 2013, India has 7 nuclear power plants with 21 nuclear reactors. They are installed, and their total installed capacity is the 57,080 megawatt. So nuclear power is the fourth largest source of electricity in India, and India has a 7 nuclear power plant with 21 nuclear reactors, and their total installed capacity is 5,780 megawatt. This is all about the nuclear energy, and it's a prospective in India and in global also. So this is a very good source of alternative energy. So foreign also, for in India also, they are shifting toward the nuclear energy, because nuclear energy will give very high enormous energy, very high heat for today's for the today's need of electricity generation, because today we are too much dependent on electricity, and nuclear energy has a very great potential for the production of electricity, for the production of energy also. Now this is about the different atomic power station present in India. So in India, one in UP, in Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, all one nuclear power plant is there. First one is the Narora atomic power station, that is present in Narora district of Uttar Pradesh. Now Rajasthan atomic power station, that is Rawat Bhata, that is present in the place of Rawat Bhata in Rajasthan. Next one is the Tarapur Atomic Power Station, is present in Tarapur in Maharashtra state. Now, Kakarpar Atomic Power Station is present in Kakarpar in Gujarat. Kandakulam Nuclear Power Plant, that is Kandakulam, that is in Tamil Nadu. Now comes to the next slide. This is about the advantages and disadvantages of nuclear energy. So, what are the benefits associated with this nuclear energy, and what is their drawbacks also? So first one is that in case of advantage, first one is that low greenhouse gas and low greenhouse gas emission also. This is, they are very powerful and efficient. It is a reliable source of energy, cheapest source of energy, and low fuel cost and easy transportation. These are the main benefits of nuclear energy. Like first one is low greenhouse gas emission, powerful and efficient it is reliable, and it is the cheapest source of energy, low fuel cost and easy transportation. And the disadvantage that is associated with that nuclear energy is that it is a radioactive waste. By the use of nuclear energy, we'll get that radioactive waste, and radioactive waste is nothing but they are carcinogenic in nature. Carcinogenic means those elements that is causing cancer, that is causing mutation to the living organism in this earth. So they are called as carcinogenic. So radioactive waste are carcinogenic also. Nuclear accident is there. In some power plants, some nuclear accident will cause. That is a very common nuclear accident was the Ukraine nuclear accident. Means spreading too much nuclear energy into the nuclears into the vicinity of the power plant, and that is very much dangerous. That is highly dangerous for the common people, for the plants, animals, for the basic biotic life of that area. And the second one is the high cost of that nuclear energy, because by maintaining that power plant we need very high cost, and they have a very side effect on the human life, because nuclear is a very dangerous thing, because that will causes radioactive waves, and that radioactive waste also generate that will causes carcinogenic for human life. That is very dangerous for the human life and human source. So this is all about the advantage and disadvantage of nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is a very good source of energy for our country, and we can use that nuclear energy for our daily electricity generation, for the need of our daily electricity generation. And it is the made up in the power plant by the splitting of nuclei in the heavy metals, and that splitting will produce electricity, and by the fusion of some certain light element also. So nuclear fission is a fusion of nuclei in some heavy elements, and fusion is the will cause under the nuclei of certain light elements. So India and global perspective is very good among the nuclear energy. So 5 countries that is most reliant on nuclear energy are the France, Lithuania, Belgium, Slovakia, and Ukraine. These country is very having a good potential of nuclear energy, because they have uranium mines also. They have nuclear mines, and through their mining activity they will mine, they will harness, they will extract that uranium into, and they can use this for the production of electricity in their country. And India is the fourth largest source of electricity in India. Until 2013, India has a 7 nuclear power plant and 21 nuclear reactor that has a total installed capacity of 5780 megawatt. The some common examples for nuclear power plant in India is Narora Atomic Power Station, Rajasthan Atomic Power Station, Tarapur Atomic Power Station, Kakarpur Atomic Power Station, Kandakulam Nuclear Power Station. These are the common example of nuclear power plants in India. And now we'll discuss about the advantage and disadvantage related with the nuclear energy. So nuclear energy will causes low greenhouse gas emission, because totally dependency on fossil fuel will cause greenhouse gas, and that is this greenhouse gas is the main reason for the global warming. And the next advantage is that it is very powerful and efficient source of energy. It is a reliable source of energy and cheapest form of electricity also, and it is a low fuel cost and easy transportation is there. But this nuclear energy is having disadvantage, and it is related with the human life. And that disadvantage is that it will produce radioactive waste. It causes some nuclear accident. It is very high cost nuclear energy, and it has a major impact on human life. Through the process of mutation, it causes cancer into the human body. So this is all about the advantage and disadvantage of nuclear energy. So our this today's lecture is all about the alternative source of energy. So why we need this alternative source of energy? Because India has a very great population, and for utilizing the need of that much amount of great population, nuclear some alternative source of energy is very important. And that alternative source of energy should be pollution free, should be eco friendly, should be less cost effective. So their cost effective should be less. So we have to find these kind of alternative energy sources, and that should be very easily available in our daily life. So for this, we have discussed about the solar energy, wind energy, nuclear energy, hydropower, ocean energy. All these energy are the alternative source of energy for our today's generation, for our today's need. And India, and we have to use that energy in the sustainable manner, because sustainability will leads to the availability of that energy for the coming generation also. Because we have to use it in a sustainable manner, like we should can't over exploit that source of energy, because that source of energy is present in a less amount, and it should be available for the next generation also. Because this should be vanished one day, or maybe that will produce some side effects also. So the over exploitation should be stopped for the use of energy resources. So this module is all about the energy resources. As we have completed this module, because we have already discussed about the energy resources, renewable, non-renewable, their types of energy, their case study, the side effects related with the renewable and non-renewable energy, and the case studies of all renewable sources of energy. So from next lecture we'll discuss about the module 3. So thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.